Hey, I want to start this explainer by asking you something. When was the last time you really noticed the little details around you? And I mean not just glanced at them, but truly saw them. The way the afternoon sunlight hits a window in your living room, the sound of dry leaves rustling under your feet on a walk, or even just a small smile someone gives when they think absolutely no one is watching them. It is so incredibly easy to rush through life, totally distracted, isn't it?
Think about it for a second. How often do we completely miss what's sitting right in front of us because we're preoccupied with the constant buzz and noise of our endless to-do lists? We're just always obsessing over what comes next. But what if the real secret to feeling more connected, more capable, and honestly, more alive actually lies in those tiny moments and details we tend to just overlook?
Okay, let's dive into this, because this isn't just some abstract concept about mindfulness, and it's definitely not a competition for who can meditate the best. It's a profound, incredibly practical shift that completely changes how we experience everything. When you start genuinely tuning in, you suddenly notice patterns, small kindnesses, subtle shifts in people's moods. It's almost like discovering an entirely new layer of reality that was just hiding there the whole time.
And here is where our source material makes a totally fascinating connection. Everyone tends to think that highly intelligent people just know a ton of facts, or they have perfect memories, or they got straight A's in school. But actually, scratch that. That's not the whole story at all. The real difference isn't just what they know, it's this quiet power of attention. True intelligence is heavily defined by how you deliberately see problems and how you choose to handle the exact same things that stress everybody else out. It's all about paying attention to the right things. So let's look at the 5 ways this plays out.
Number 1, noticing others.
So when highly intelligent people face a disagreement, what happens? Well, they don't turn it into a massive battle. For most of us, let's be real, the knee-jerk instinct is to argue, get mad, and fight to prove the other person is wrong and we are right. But smart people pay attention to the dynamic. Instead of fighting, they choose to learn. They ask real, genuine questions, not those sneaky trick questions designed to trap someone, but questions meant to actually uncover the other person's perspective. And this brilliantly illustrates the power of that approach. When you stop fighting and simply say, "Help me understand why you think that," the craziest thing happens. It's like a magic trick. The other person instantly stops being defensive. They open up. Real conversations happen, and often, by simply talking through their ideas out loud, they might even change their own minds. You can't force agreement, but you can absolutely guide it through attention.
Number 2, see the big picture.
This is all about shifting your visual field. It's noticing the broader patterns instead of getting stuck and, frankly, panicking over a single small failure. Most people fail a test or have one bad day at work and immediately think, "Oh man, I'm worthless," or "everything is falling apart." They're zoomed in way too close on the negative. But intelligent people use this specific technique. They shift their perspective and zoom out like a camera lens. They don't view a rejection or a bad day as permanent proof of their identity. They see it simply as new information. They notice the pattern. Like, hey, maybe I just need more sleep, or maybe I need a completely different strategy here.
When you zoom out, you have this incredible realization. Problems stop being these heavy emotional burdens, and they literally become puzzles. And the beautiful thing about a puzzle, it can be solved. Stepping back and paying attention to the whole board turns your immediate panic into calm, rational planning. You start asking, okay, what's really going on here, and what should I try next?
Number 3, focus on the controllables.
This is all about noticing the boundaries of your own influence. Think about how much energy we waste stressing over things we have absolutely zero power over. Will it rain tomorrow? Is my boss in a bad mood? What do those strangers think of me? All that worry just drains you. Highly effective thinkers actively notice the difference between what they can't control and what they can. Look, you can't control the weather, but you can definitely control bringing an umbrella. You can't control if you get the job, but you can completely control doing your absolute best to prepare for the interview. It really boils down to this incredibly liberating rule. If I can't control it, I literally don't think about it. Pointing your attention exclusively toward actionable things saves so much mental energy. And then you can redirect all that saved up energy toward actually fixing the things that matter in your life. It's a real game changer.
Number 4, the strength of silence.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the stark contrast in comfort levels. It's about noticing the space between words. Most people are honestly terrified of quiet moments. If there's a silence in a conversation, they panic and rush to fill it by saying the very first thing that pops into their head.
They just talk to talk. But intelligent people, they use quiet as a tool. They are totally comfortable with silence. They think before they speak, and they listen without interrupting, letting the other person actually finish their thought. Here is a highly practical piece of advice from our sources. Try counting to 3 before you answer a question. Seriously, try it. Silence actually makes people pay attention to you. When you pause, people naturally assume your answer is going to be important. Not only do quiet people often seem smarter because they choose their words carefully, but counting to 3 guarantees your answer will genuinely be significantly better.
Number 5. Choose how you react. This is perhaps the most important habit of the whole bunch, noticing your own internal impulses. Life is constantly throwing things at us, right? Someone cuts you off in traffic. Someone is rude to you at the grocery store. Something just doesn't go your way. The standard operating procedure for most of us is reacting immediately, snapping back, getting mad, giving up. But the smart alternative is pausing to breathe. It's asking yourself, wait, is this actually worth getting upset about? When someone is rude, maybe they're just having a genuinely terrible day. How can I respond in a way that actually helps the situation?
So the crucial point is this. Pausing is not a weakness. Choosing your response instead of blindly and emotionally reacting is the ultimate display of intelligence and strength. The person who stays calm while everyone else loses their cool, that is the person who holds the power in any room.
Let's bring this all together and see how this builds into a complete framework. Here are the 5 ways to think differently. Ask questions instead of arguing. Zoom out to see the larger patterns. Focus your energy only on what you can actually control. Get comfortable using quiet as a tool. And pause before you react. Building true intelligence doesn't require a genius IQ. It really just requires a commitment to paying attention.
But please, do not try to overhaul your entire life overnight. That is a straight-up recipe for failure. The best advice here is to pick just one small thing from this list to focus on for the next week. Maybe you decide you're going to practice that 3-second pause before answering questions. Or maybe you'll focus on asking, "Help me understand," when you disagree with a coworker. Just pick one.
Because remember how we started this explainer? We talked about the magic of simply slowing down. This whole framework is really just a daily practice of curiosity and presence. It's about giving yourself permission to pause, breathe, and really look around. Whether it's noticing the steam rising from your morning coffee mug or noticing your own impulse to yell in traffic and choosing to breathe instead, these tiny acts of noticing, over time, build a richer, fuller experience of life.
They remind us that even in a world that often feels overwhelmingly loud and fast, there's immense beauty, meaning, and intelligence waiting quietly to be discovered. In a way, this is an invitation to reconnect with the world, with others, and maybe most importantly, with ourselves. So, the next time life feels like it's moving way too fast, remember, what matters isn't always the big events, but the small glimpses we choose to see. What small glimpse will you see today? Thanks for sharing this moment with me. Here's to noticing more, living deeper, and finding one